Hey everybody, this is David at Homestead Hacks. What I'm doing today is I've had redworms before, but it's been a while. So we're always looking for worms to fish with, and we usually just end up picking up rocks or bricks or boards, but we're just wanting something more simpler, something closer to the pond. And I'm gonna keep this in a barn, but what I did, I ordered 2 pounds of red wigglers. They come today in the bags, and what I'm doing is mixing up a pre-bed, a new bed for them. And it's hard to go wrong with this. There's a few things that you can't put in it. You don't want to put any kind of meat or nothing really acidic. The best things to put in it is like a lot of green stuff, old lettuce, potato peels, old potatoes, mashed potatoes are really good. They really love those things. Anything like that comes out of a garden is okay. I would hold back on like tomatoes because they're kind of acidic. Some people may compost them, that's fine, you know, but I don't use it. So what I've done, I got some old leaves that I had that was actually left over from the fall. And I mixed some of those in there. And you can see there's a little bit of lettuce in there. And I also got potato peels where we peeled mashed potatoes for Easter. And let me get it all together and I'll resume the filming. Now this soil right here that you see, this old dried out, this come out of the goat pen. That is it's got goat manure, chicken manure, pig manure, and look how it's composted already coming from inside the pen. It's already broke down and very, very good for them, taking out all the hard chunks, anything like that. And what I'll do, once I get enough of this in here, I'm gonna mix it all up, and then I'll wet this down a little bit, because you don't want to put worms in a dry bed like that. So once I get what I want to get in here, I'll dampen it down a little bit, and then we'll put the worms in. Okay, I got everything mixed up. It took a lot of labor to get that mixed up because that was so dry. I had to keep adding water and adding water and adding water till I got to what I felt was right consistency. And you don't want a lot of moisture, too much moisture. I know this because from back, of course, like I said, I used to raise red wigglers as a hobby, not as a profession or anything, just as a hobby. But back when I was a kid, back when I was very young, we caught night crawlers back in the Ohio Valley in West Virginia, and we sold those, and the soil that you had to use was actually what come out of your yard. If you'd mix up something like this for night crawlers, they wouldn't do very good. They might do okay, but they liked the dark, rich, native soil, and it was hard to breed them. You couldn't really raise them. They had to pretty much be caught. And our yard back in Jacksonburg, West Virginia was loaded with night crawlers. You could catch about as fast as you could pick them up, and there was a lot of them. We caught over 100 dozen one night. There was that many. But anyway, getting away from the subject of redworms, you got to get the soil just the right consistency. You don't want it too dry. You don't want it too wet. If it's too wet, and soggy, it will kill the worms, or they won't do as good. So I got it mixed up to what I thought was good. I put a little bit of old lettuce and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dump these right on the very top, just like that. These are the ones that come in today. 2 pound of them, quite a few. You don't try to bury them, just let them go in naturally. And I'm going to leave this toad out here. It's not supposed to rain or anything. I may pull them inside just in case that reason that it does. Now, what I've done in the lid, I put several vent holes. Put vent holes on the side of the tub and in the bottom of the tub, the tote, whatever you want to call it. So those redworms will go in the ground, they'll sink in, they'll start eating that debris. This will give them a good start. Now, I know this is not how everybody does this. Everybody's going to have their own way of how they do a worm bed. This is just how I do it. So, not saying this is the right way or the only way. That's just how I do it. Try to use composted material just to get them started, to give them a good natural environment. Now, you can start off really raw and put like vegetables and newspaper, wet newspaper or damp newspaper, not soggy and wet, and material like that. In my opinion, that's okay, but I would prefer getting them started good in something like this. Get them a good foothold and then start introducing that stuff to them. And that way they'll be more populated. This should have lots of eggs in. I'm trying not to stir it up too much. Some really nice red wigglers there. You can usually see the castings. I'm sure they're in there. But we'll let them sink down. Put the lid on it. Get some potato peels I'm gonna put on the top. And we're good to go. And we'll do a check on them later. Okay, inside the barn is where I put the worm bed. I had it on an old hive stand. And just keep it up off the ground because it's got holes in the bottom. You can see the lid. See how it holds the moisture in. You can see a worm on top of it, maybe a couple of them. And you can see them crawling around the edges. And when you pull up the food, see how you can see the, look there. See how good those are doing. Now you normally don't disturb this like this, but see how they're coming to the top eating the food. They're eating those potato peels or whatever you put on there. They like anything like that. So that's how you do a worm. That's how you do a worm bed. Very easy. And just take care of them and just keep feeding them, and you know, got your drain holes in there to keep the excess water. So they look very happy. They're doing very good. Been here about a week now.